Three different types of Punnet squares we're going to talk about are TESTCROSS, MONOHYBRID, and DIHYBRID. TESTCROSS follows one genotype. MONOHYBRID is basically it follows the allele for one gene, and DIHYBRID follows two genes simultaneously. There are diagrams to predict gamete combinations. They're used to identify whether an individual is homozygous or heterozygous, which basically means that the individual could have two dominant alleles, or it could be heterozygous and have one dominant allele and one recessive allele. So we're going to use Mendel's pea plants example. So for the capital case would be purple flowers, lowercase would be white flowers. Since there's a dominant allele here, every offspring would have a dominant allele. And then it'll be 100% of them would be heterozygous. The homozygous, it's 0%. Now in this side, it would be only two offspring would get a dominant allele because there's only one dominant allele here. 50% of them would be heterozygous, and 50% of them would be homozygous. Okay, so what monohybrid crosses do is they follow the allele of one gene. Like for example, having the allele of being tall or short. To understand this, we gotta know that capital letter, it would be dominant, and a lowercase letter would be recessive. Two identical alleles, that means they will be homozygous. Different alleles, that means it will be heterozygous. The mother and the father, and the mother is basically heterozygous, means she has two different alleles, so she has one dominant allele and one recessive. The father is the same, the father has one dominant allele and one recessive. So in this case, the offspring will receive, and then here we'll have two recessive alleles, one from the mother and one from the father, since a fourth of the, is a chance for 1 out of 4 of the offspring would have a dominant allele for being tall, and making it like just 1/4, and here would be 1/4 that it would be recessive. And then it would be basically 50% that it would be heterozygous for the allele, 50%. Mother would give each offspring a recessive allele. And what we see in this one is that every offspring could be heterozygous, basically. There are diagrams to predict gamete combinations in a cross. A genotype is basically genetic makeup. And a phenotype is the physical appearance. Here we're going to use Mendel's P example. The genetic makeup, the phenotype, it would be dominant allele, which would be yellow, and the recessive allele, which would be green. And for texture, basically, like the physical appearance, it would be a capital R for smooth, so it'd be a dominant allele, and the recessive allele would be wrinkled. Here we have all the different combinations that the offsprings could be. So here would be that the offspring is it's all dominant to yellow and being smooth. And an important thing to understand here is the ratio. So the ratio would be 9. Yeah, it would be 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. So this basically means that 9 out of 16 would be yellow and smooth plant, 3 out of 16 would be yellow and wrinkled plants, and 3 out of 16 would be green and smooth plants, and only 1 would be a wrinkled plant, just like you see here. Okay, so there you have it. Those are the 3 Punnet squares. And the reason I got into these is because I didn't understand what homozygous and heterozygous were, like I would confuse them. And hopefully this helped you so you could do good on your test, because that would certainly be on the test. So just remember that heterozygous is two different and homozygous is two same. Thank you.